everybody, it's Dorothy from Print Cut and Create here, and I'm here with your hybrid Humpday tutorial. We're going to make a card, and it's called Playing with Blocks. And what we're going to be doing is, if you saw from the card in the beginning, we're going to make little blocks out of an image, and we're going to place it on our cards. These are also known as inchies. A lot of people like using these on their cards, and basically they're like little tiny pieces of art that are 1 inch by 1 inch big. Here in the UK, 2.5 centimeters is almost an inch, so we're going to be working on that size. First, what you want to get is get yourself a card. I've just got an A5 card here in yellow, just some yellow cardstock folded, A4 cardstock folded in half for an A5 card. Then I've got another piece of cardstock for that's going to be the matting layer, and this matting layer is 13 centimeters by 18 centimeters. Then what you're going to need is your main image. Now this is an image motif. This is the hybrid part. The hybrid part is, I created this in Photoshop. It looks like it might have been difficult, but it really wasn't. Basically, I took an image, when I figured it out so I can get 2.5 centimeters, it's 12.5 across and 15 centimeters long. You can make it a perfect square if you want, and that's fine. You can make it any rectangle or square size you'd like. But what I did is I've just used some Photoshop brushes on a blank image on a beige background, because I knew I was going to have beige in it and yellow, and then I just printed it off. There'll be links on the blog post with of whose brushes these are, so you can go check them out for yourself if you use Photoshop or Photoshop Elements. Then what I did to get the glitter is I took a glue pen like this, and I just made dots, and these were little sparkles. I colored those in with the glue pen, and then sprinkled with some gold glitter, some fine gold glitter, and let it dry. And this is all dry right now. It may be glittery, but it's dry. So this is your main motif, and this is the hybrid part. What we need to do is we need to go ahead and slice this. One other thing I did do is I took this image and I just softened it a little bit, and I created a backing paper with it, and I just printed it out for an A4 backing paper sheet, and put it on my card already, so that's all ready to go. Next we want to do is we want to create our pieces, our inchy pieces. So what you would like to do, what you need to do is go ahead and get your paper cutter out. And you can start at the top or the bottom. This is going to be the top, and this is the bottom of my image. And what you need to do is you need to cut it into strips that are 2.5 centimeters wide. So bring your card into 2.5 centimeters and make a strip. Now I'm going to put this at the bottom over here. And make sure you keep your strips in order, especially if you have some sort of design motif where you do need to keep it in order. But then again, you just might have an all-over design where it doesn't really matter if you keep them in order or not. So you just go ahead and create your strips at 2.5 centimeters. Just make sure you keep them in order. Go. Okay, once you've got your strips all cut, now you want to go ahead and create the inchy squares. So again, we're just going to take our bottom strip, and again we're going to come into 2.5 centimeters and create your boxes. Now I wanted to keep mine in order, so what I've done is I'm just going to place them in order on my, I've got a piece of grease-proof paper here that I use as a waterproof mat. So I'm just going to arrange them on this. And this gives you the general idea here. Go ahead and cut out all your pieces. Now you're going to do that with all your strips. I'm not going to do that to save some time. So you've got your image arranged, and you've got your strips, your boxes, your inchy boxes, and you've got them all in order. So go ahead and you're going to lay them on some on your craft sheet, or if you, like I said, I've used greaseproof paper, something waterproof. And then what I've done is I want to wet these down, and what I've got here is I've got some water in a spray bottle, and what I've added is I've added a little bit of Cosmic Shimmer to it. This is Cosmic Shimmer in Tropic Yellow because it was the closest to gold that I had, and I just put some in there with a little bit of water, shake it up, and we're going to give our inchies a bit of a spray. Not too much of a spray, just a little bit. And now once they're wet, what you want to do is go ahead and crumple them up. Yes, get them nice and crumply and little. Remember which is the top and which is your bottom. Now with computer ink, you might, once it's wet, you might get a little bit of fading, which is what I've got here, and the ink will bleed a bit, but I think that just adds interest and it looks like your own piece of art that you've made. And you go ahead and you just wrinkle them all up, and then unwrinkle them all up, and you just keep them in their line, and you're going to do this to all of them, and it takes a bit of time. It's not something that you're going to have done in 5 minutes. It's going to take a little while to crinkle them and uncrinkle, and then make sure that they're all back in their spot. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of these, and I'm going to edge this. I'm using Vintage Photo Distress Ink and my Distress Ink tool. Get your ink on your tool, and we're going to go ahead and edge these. Now, because these are a little bit wet, the ink will bleed a bit, but again, this just makes it look a little bit more oldie, worldy, vintagey looking. Again, make sure you keep your... See, I always start at the top of what I know is the top of the square, so that I know when I get to the end, I know that this is the top. Same thing with this one. Just because you're doing so many of these, this means you really want to have a process that you go through. As I said, if it doesn't matter if it bleeds a little bit, if it's smudgy, if it's bleeds, it really creates interest in your image. So you can even do it on top if you want. And there you go. You're going to do this with all of them, so they look like a nice picture. And then what you want to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to paste them on here. Now I've used glue dots on mine, and I've just taken a glue dot, again keeping the top in the same spot. And I know how I have these, and I have them near the bottom, so this is the bottom one. So I'm going to hold it sideways. This will just help me line it up a little bit better by eye. Again, if you want to measure out and line these up absolutely perfect, you can. I'm not, because it just doesn't need to be perfect, because they're so crinkly and so nice and crinkly and all that it just doesn't. Just put them all on like this, and you're going to do this with all of them, and it's creating like a mosaic. Now you can use any inchies for doing this. You can use each square being a different design. You can buy sheet. You can even get, if you go places like SD, and you can get sheets of inchies. There you go. And you're going to arrange them on your cardstock like that. When you're done, you're going to have this. And if you see, I have them all in individually. I'm going to flatten them a little bit because you know I'm all sticky-uppy. I also, on this cardstock, I took this to my silhouette and I created a border on this. Then what we did was we took the backing paper. I also used the Distress Ink, Vintage Photo Distress Ink on the paper. And we're just going to add this to our card. And this is pretty heavy cardstock I'm using, so I used a pretty sturdy tape here. Double-sided tape from a roll, extra wide, 6 mil wide. I'm sorry, yeah, 6 or 12. 12, I think it is. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and place this on our image. I'm placing this here toward the top, and I'm leaving a little bit of extra down at the bottom, because what I've got that I've also made for this is I've made a little design motif. Basically what I did is I took the excess paper that I had left over from this backing paper, and I cut it into, I just rough cut it into like a flower shape, like that. And then I did the same technique. I wetted them, and I crinkled them up, and I edged them all with the Vintage Photo Distress ink, and just made a simple flower. I've got about 5 layers here, and just connected them all with a brad. Then I also stuck the brad through some ribbon that matches, and I've added some more Prima flowers to it. And we're just going to go ahead and attach that. Again, I'm going to use these glue dots because they are pretty sturdy stuff. And I'm going to use 2 for now. I can add more later. And then I'm just going to add this design, a little bit of an angle here at the bottom of the card. And what I also made was I made a little tag. I just cut out a tag shape, and again I wet it, I distressed inked it, wrinkled it, and just put another ribbon through it. Tighten that up a bit. And we're going to stick this in here too. And again, I'm just going to use one of these glue dots, and we're just going to lightly shove it in there. And I'm just putting it on top. Thank you very much. And there you go. We've got a card with our homemade inchies with a design motif created on our computer along with backing paper to make a beautiful card that is just really vintagey and shabby and chic. I hope you think it's shabby and chic. I know I do. Well, thanks for joining me today on Print, Cut, and Create, and I hope you enjoyed this hybrid tutorial for today. We'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye.